What you are about to hear is highly classified. Pay attention and listen at all times. And most importantly, remember, if you don't have a barrier to keep all those pesky hulks in their own area, things are going to get real messy in Manhattan. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now entering Zone 4.
I'm sorry, bad experience.
And welcome back to the Zone. I'm Brant Fowler.
I'm John Wilson.
I'm Chris Ventura. I'm Chris Ventura.
I'm extremely surprised that no one else is speaking.
that would be Mike Spider Slayer, but I think he froze. Oh man, we'll try to get Mike back.
Zone 4, episode 303. Freezing begins now.
It wouldn't be Zone 4
Google.
It wouldn't be Zone 4 without some mess ups, so whatever. This is episode 304. Hopefully Mike Spider Slayer will join us.
I said 303, sorry.
Yeah, it's 304. See, you got the number wrong, and you always get the number off on everything, right?
Something, maybe, perhaps, sort of.
You're on the even numbers, Chris.
Okay, I'm the
Remember that. All right, you're the even. All
Yes.
right.
Even though you're odd, you're on the even.
Exactly. Mark. All right, so
How did Kevin
This is
Smith's
a
dog
special-
get on this podcast?
yeah, this is a
Chicky!
special episode.
It's Kevin Smith's dog's name, in case you didn't know.
Okay.
He always yells Shecky during a podcast.
That's Trixie. That's not Shecky. But anyway,
Your dog's
This is
named
a-
after a stripper?
I'm just watching friends.
I did not name the dog. It was named what I got here. So, yeah.
You sure?
I'm pretty positive.
Okay. I wasn't even looking at your face then, by the way, so I didn't know what
I know.
went on was so funny, but
I know. I forgot to change it. Anyway,
forgot to change your face?
yes,
the
I forgot to
Joker
change
now,
my
what
face.
the hell?
I forgot to change my face. You know, I do that once a day. I don't know. Anyway.
What, are you going to hook it like the Joker and put on the new one all the time? Uh-huh. Okay.
You're going to make me regret doing this as video, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be a good
Oh,
I
man.
hope everybody who's watching this live is trapped into some fun. And Mike's back. Mike, you want to introduce yourself?
What?
Actually, this is pure conversation right now.
What?
What?
We're live? Oh, we're live.
You've been live.
We've been live for, well, I've been live longer than most of you, but yeah.
We
Oh,
got to your
my God.
introduction and realized you weren't there, so.
Yeah, I thought
Or left.
I thought when I came off, I thought you guys were waiting for me, and I didn't realize that we're even live. And then you guys were having this huge conversation here, and then it's so I'm Mike Spider Slayer. Yeah, that's right.
We went live, and 2 seconds after we went live, you froze out.
Oh yeah, I couldn't get back on. It was just weird.
Yeah.
It's Google Plus said there was authentication issues or whatever it was. Like,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
I was pointing my gun back at the screen. Maybe it was that.
You scared Google. Yeah.
I scared Google.
Yeah. You scared me, that's for sure.
With my,
They're scared of us.
afraid. You should be very afraid. Very.
I'll see you in June. Just wait till then. I mean,
Yeah.
So in June, Brant, I'll remember, just let me know where to send the flowers.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Or will you?
Or will you? Yeah. All right. So this is episode 304. Obviously, we're live for the first time since the 200th episode, I believe, and especially on video. We figured we're recording on Friday night. Why not go ahead and do it live? We'll still put up the audio version on iTunes and all that. But enough about that. Before we get into the show and into more hilarity and threats from John to my well-being and safety. We should mention that we are proud members of the Comics Podcast Network. You can find us on comicspodcasts.com each and every episode, and you can find a plethora of other great comic podcasts over there as well, so check them out.
Well said.
Plethora, I said. Plethora. Thank you.
Plethora.
All right. Plethora. So, John,
Yeah.
how you doing, man?
I'm lovely.
Are you happy to be on camera right now?
I'm
Oh, he's got Batman. So, what have you been reading lately, man?
Nothing.
That's a very.
So, Chris, what have you been
That's a very
I've
proud.
been reading too much.
I've been
Okay.
reading stuff we can't talk about. That's what I've been reading.
That's true. You've been writing stuff you can't talk about, but we won't get into that yet. More about that towards the end of the show. Never mind. Chris, tell us about what character died.
Too much. Really, this is how we're opening the show. I love how Brant.
Yeah, sure. Why not? It's going down the rails already. So.
It's like, I don't see the part where we're supposed to be talking about what we read.
And so much for the script.
Is that not? Oh, you're right. No, yeah, it's there.
We can talk.
Sure it is.
Way to go.
We
Oh, I'm on
chit-chat
the-
as
I
usual.
went too
Did
far
I delete
down.
that part?
Okay.
We can talk about any comics that really. It's right there.
Yeah. I
Right
went
above.
too
Yeah,
far.
well, guess what?
I'm up to the
Nothing.
topic. I went one lower. Sorry, I went off the script and
Uh-huh.
I screwed up the script.
Brant, look at the last sentence of your little sentence there. That is right there.
Touche.
Did you? Did you really?
Mhm.
Did I really?
Let it flow naturally? I don't think so.
No, I did. I did not let it flow naturally.
You,
'Cause I'm
you
trying
just
to-
sprang it on us.
I'm trying to steer away from the runaway train that this has become, and just I did a sharp turn and just cut it. You know, I'm just trying to
And
go somewhere else with it.
I know.
I don't know
I will say there was one
because it's
book.
about to go off the cliff.
that's called a derailment. It's what that's called.
There was
That
one
is-
book
You
that
derailed the drain.
you derailed it.
Boom.
So one book, Chris.
There was one book that did catch my attention. It actually came out this past Wednesday. And you know what it is, because it actually hit the news with Kevin Eastman, Mr. Derail. He's still laughing about it, too. That's just funny.
You're laughing about the death of Donatello? That's rude.
Are you laughing about the death of Donatello?
I'm giggling like a schoolgirl about the
I'm
death
just
of
thinking
Donatello.
turtle soup. I don't know what you guys are thinking.
Well, I mean, they have to get rid of the body, right?
Exactly.
You are suggesting cannibalism
Brand.
amongst the
No.
turtles? That is
I-
horrible.
I didn't say the turtles would eat them.
That is-
I'm talking
that
about
is
shredders.
pretty dark.
You know.
What next?
Who knows what
That girl
Crane-
on the cover with Joker? I mean, my God.
Let's not. I'm so sick of seeing about that topic. I don't even want to talk about it. Who knows what Crane
What
eats?
did you read, Brant? You were so far behind this past month. Did you catch up and did you read some stuff?
I've read some things from each week, just not everything. This past week I read all the books, I think, or most of them.
Anything stand out for you in the month of March?
Star Wars, obviously. That Amazing Spider-Man special, we talked about that on Frontline Live. That one really impressed me. It was
Yes.
really fun.
Yeah,
That was truly Spider-Man.
Yeah.
that was just really funny issue. I think like everyone should just pick up that copy and just read that issue in itself to see how funny Spider-Man could be. That's one you should try, John. Amazing Spider-Man special. It's like it has to deal with the Inhumans, and it has all these one-liners in there that it's just hysterical. I mean, really over the top type of funny, but it fits the character. And if Spider-Man was written this way every week, I think his sales would go through the roof. It was a really, really funny book this past week. Really
Nothing
good
about
stuff.
Spider-Verse, is it? Because I'm about
No,
to...
no.
It's over. Spider-Verse is done, over with, and drowned.
Yeah. No, it was just I mean,
I might check
it's
it out.
It's a crossover with Inhumans. There's like 3 different books. It's 2 other books this time in with, but if you just read that, like Mike was saying, you just read that one issue just for what it is. It's so funny, so good. It's classic Peter Parker. So,
Yeah,
I had
absolutely. You know, another good series is Hulk. I don't know. I know Chris hasn't really read Hulk. Have you've been reading Hulk, haven't you, Brent?
No, I haven't read it
No.
since the first few issues. I just never caught up with it.
Yeah, that's a really good series right now. Same thing, Jerry Duggan's writing that one there.
Yeah.
And Mark Bagley does the artwork. That's a really good series right now, where Bruce Banner is no longer really Bruce Banner, and the Hulk is no longer the Hulk, and the Hulk has actually trapped Bruce Banner inside of his body, and he calls himself Doc Green, and his mission is to go out and stop all the gamma-powered Hulks. So he's the last one that there is, and
Okay.
he winds up succeeding to a point, and eventually this smart his earlier in the issues he got shot and his brain was replaced by Extremis. So they had like Extremis piece in his brain or whatever it is, and eventually though that power has dwindled, so he's not as smart as he used to be, and he created his own AI, and now his own AI is more smarter than he is. And so now he's off to do his mission, but in a much more violent way. So now Doc Green has to go and stop his AI as well. So it's crazy stuff that's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like it. It sounds interesting. I mean, I hear you guys talk about it all the time. And I don't know. I liked the when it first started, when he was like part of S.H.I.E.L.D. thing, but I know a lot of people didn't like that, and that's why they changed creative teams and all that stuff. But I just never followed it past that. So.
Yeah, I mean, I tried the whole S.H.I.E.L.D. situation too, and I didn't like it either. But then when this story arc started, people were like, "Oh, give it a try." I was like, "Okay." So I tried it like a couple issues into this new volume, and it's so much better. It's a lot better. It's a fantastic read. Better than a lot of series out there. And then I also recently got back into Deadpool as well. So, and then right now he's fighting Omega Red. And
Mike, when did this series start? Was it issue 5 where Duggan started his run? Because if it is, it comes out next week, the trade paperback, for the regular price is $20, but Midtown has it for $16.
I think it was issue 5. I think it was really, or close to it. But yeah, get the trade though, Chris. I would get it anyway.
I think I'm actually looking into it. That's what I'm looking at right now.
It is issue 5.
It is? Okay.
So yeah,
cool.
And then I would try, and then Deadpool is good because also Jerry Duggan writes that he writes that and the Hulk and Nova. So I think Deadpool was a good series right now also too, and supposedly now he's the next one to die within the next couple of issues. So I don't know how he dies or what's going to happen, but he's been having this crazy battle with Omega Red. And I like Omega Red just because he reminds me from 90s X-Men time.
Yeah, exactly.
So
he was in the cartoon and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Deadpool's not he's not over the top in the way Jerry Duggan writes him. It's just the humor's there when needed. It's a really fun book to read. Good action, good artwork in there. So it's fun. I like it. I enjoy it a lot too. So there's just some series. Those are a few series to look forward to besides some of the others that we always talk about, like Spider-Man or Star Wars or obviously Star Wars is our favorite.
I thought Spawn Resurrection, the one shot, anybody who's a huge Spawn fan will really appreciate the issue. The artwork was fantastic. I don't know if, Brant, you had a chance to find out if that's the artist that's going to be on the ongoing series, but it was a really, really good book. Now, for those of you that don't know, Spawn, Al Simmons committed suicide back in issue 185 or 3. It was one of the two. And Todd McFarlane just took him out of the equation. They brought in a new guy, Jim Downing. He became Spawn, and he was Spawn all the way up until this point. And Todd Todd McFarlane, there was a new team on the book for a while with Jim Downing. Now Jim Downing is gone, and Todd McFarlane's brought back Al again. But now it's a new team. I believe Brian Wood's doing the writing. I don't know who's doing the artwork. I remember
John Boy
Brian
Myers.
I'm sorry?
John Boy Myers, and he is the artist on the series.
He did the special and he's on the series?
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect then. It was beautiful artwork. It summed up. If you didn't know Spawn, you could pick this book up. It set Spawn up. It gave you the entire timeline from the time Al Simmons was killed, became Malbolgia's champion, basically Spawn, the reason why he came back to Earth, and then why he basically took himself out, because he had no control over what was going on. He wasn't going to change anything. And then God shows up in this book, and he's this dog. It's heavy dialogue. And God basically says he played right into their hands because they wanted him to take himself out of the equation. And now God, who never interfered, has interfered and said, they need you. Don't go back as my champion. Don't go back as Malbolgius or the Devil's champion. Go back as the People's champion. They need you. And spoiler alert, I guess, it's been about a week and a half now. Wanda ended up dying a few days before God actually made it to Al. And now she's trapped in hell looking for Al's unborn child. This is all part of the past. And now Al's going back to Earth to save Earth, and then he's eventually, we're going to probably see him go to hell to try to save Wanda and his unborn child, which was taken as well, which is a new twist because we didn't know that before in the Spawn mythos. It was just like an unborn child, and then it was just part of the background story. Now they're fleshing it out even more. And I've read Brian Wood's writing through Star Wars, and the artwork from the Resurrection special. I think this is going to be an amazing team for Spawn. If you are a fan of Spawn, if you liked Al and you stopped reading because he was taken out of the book and it was Jim Downing, personally, I was not into Jim Downing and I was not into the artwork at that time in the book, so I left Spawn, but I'm definitely back on Spawn now. It looks like it's going to be amazing. I know that, Brant, I think you started reading it. Mike, you said you couldn't read it because the wording on the digital copies were too small.
Right, yeah. So I couldn't really get into it.
I read the, what was it, 250?
Yeah, that was horrible. I wish I could save my $5.
Yeah, I read through most, like half of that, and I just couldn't finish it. It was so bad.
It was so bad. It was like so long and so bad. It was horrible.
So I didn't even try Resurrection because I was scared. I was like, I can't put myself through that again.
You know what? I wish I would have ignored that issue, even for the last page, and I would have just bought this one instead. It would have been perfect.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. That My Little Mermaid series was that first issue to that was really good this past month too. Did you get a chance to read that, Brant?
No.
No, that one is done by Meredith Finch. She's the one that wrote it, and that was really good too. That was a great book to read, and the artwork was phenomenal in there too. And you get so many questions after you get done reading it. You're just like, oh wow, now I got more questions here, and it's such a mystery. The whole thing's like a mystery of how everything happened. So I can't wait to see how that series turns out too. And
I'll have to check it out. Huh? Oh, I was just gonna say I'm not a huge Spawn fan anyway. But no, I'll have to check that out. I like her writing on Wonder Woman, so
yeah,
I'll have to check that out.
And then if you guys get a chance this week, I just got done reading the Amazing Spider-Man 16.1 issue. So and that was a nice issue. I like it. I like where it's going.
I have it. I gotta read it.
Yeah.
Who's writing it again? It's like a classic writer, right?
Jerry Conway.
Jerry Conway. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's awesome right there, and it's all street level characters, man. Just like those classic characters that Spider-Man fought in his early years. You know that looks like it's gonna be in this series, and the first person. I'm not going to give away any of the story, but the first person that he deals with is Tombstone.
Nice.
So cool stuff. Definitely recommend that too for this week's comics.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I've been enjoying Thor lately. I don't know if you guys are reading. I can't remember. But I like this whole this mystery on who the female Thor is. And John, I know you're probably not caught up on what's going on with that. But basically, I know you read Original Sin, so you know that like
I've heard the concept, but I've been
Yeah.
writing and drawing. I'm not caught up on anything.
Yeah. Basically, there was some kind of secret whispered to Thor during the whole Original Sin thing, and it made him unworthy of the hammer. And then this mysterious woman picks it up, and now she's Thor, and everybody's trying to. He's going around. He's got a list of women that he knows, and he's marking them off as he figures out who's not the new Thor and stuff. And it's leading up to a reveal. I think it's either May or June that they're gonna actually do the reveal. But I don't know. I've been enjoying it. It's kind of like this little mystery, and it's kind of fun.
It slightly sounds wrong, though. It's like, did I sleep with you? Okay, you can't wield the hammer. Okay. That's good.
It will be all done in Secret Wars, I'm sure. Well,
Yeah.
They're having a book that's called Thors.
Yeah.
It's going to have all the Thors in it. So it's going to have female Thor. It's going to have like Beta Ray Bill, and Beta Ray Bill's in it. It's going to have like Frog Thor. It's going to have like all these different Thors in there. So I don't know where they're going with that.
We're very Thor about that whole idea.
Oh man. So, Chris, you didn't get to actually talk about Donatello. Did you want to talk about it at all?
I think that it was the most impactful issue I've read thus far from my indie books. It was the first issue I read because I heard IGN, there was a buzz on IGN yesterday about it, and I actually avoided it until I got the book last night. I read it digitally. Today I have the physical copy, but I did read it digitally last night, and what happened in this issue is, after this issue, Eastman said he's going to be, from issue 45 to 50, he's going to be setting up for the double-size issue 50. But the ramifications from here are also felt in the next couple of issues. So what happens is, at the end of the last issue, Shredder thought he was betrayed, so he told Bebop and Rocksteady to kill Donatello. And what happens is, by the middle of the book, that's what happens. You know, we all thought, oh, they're not going to kill Donnie, something's going to happen, and he'll survive. That didn't happen, and the Turtles are in the Technodrome facing off against Krang right now. There were lots of twists in this book. You got Baxter Stockman, who actually is the one that saved Shredder, and now he wants to be Shredder's partner. We don't know what his big plan is. Krang was defeated, and Dr. Honeycutt now and his people are back in control of that planet. The Turtles were sent back home. It's a victory. However, now Donatello is dead, and a lot of people are speculating maybe he's not dead. Next issue he'll come out of it. Towards the end of the book, Angel actually said, we got here a little while ago and we tried to save him, but I'm sorry, he's gone. So everybody's a little bit upset. They're like, how can you kill a turtle? He's going to be gone forever. Eastman is trying to play it cool from what I hear. He's not saying, you know, he's like, dead is dead, but we've heard this from Dan Slott before about Peter Parker, and a year later, look where Peter Parker is. So nobody knows if Eastman is staying cool until the reveal in issue 50, or if something else is going to happen with Donatello, but it's obvious they're not going to keep a turtle dead. The four turtles are a key factor to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Watch, it's not really Donatello, it's his secret, like, twin brother named Monatello, and then he was out in hiding this whole time, and then he comes back and he's like, hey guys, I've been, like, in Alaska training, and they're going to be like, oh, and then they're not going to care about this, like, twin guy. It's going to be something weird like that. That's a great story, isn't it?
Let me see if I remember my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cartoon opening. Didn't Donatello do machines? Maybe it's a robot or something.
Oh, that's true.
A highly advanced robot thing.
Yeah, life model decoy.
Yeah, life model turtle koi.
Yeah.
Though I have to say, if any of the turtles were going to die, are you really surprised it would be Donnie?
No, and a lot of people like. I mean, Donatello is my least favorite out of the four turtles. I guess that's why the impact isn't really hurting me so much. And again, I know that at some point he'll come back. There's, Kitsune with the magic. There's my brother with one of his coworkers. One of his coworkers is a turtle fan, and I don't know if he reads the comic or if he just follows the news, which is what pisses my brother off because They were having an argument about how Donatello's dead and that's that. And my brother is trying to explain to him, listen, there's magic, there's Kitsune, there's the possibility, like John said, life model decoy. There are so many possibilities a comic writer can throw at you 5 issues later about why Donatello isn't really dead. You're really going to sit here and say dead is dead? So, and he got into an arc 2 days in a row. My brother comes home and tells me, I'm going to choke this guy. He doesn't listen.
You should just let it go.
I told him to let it go. It doesn't matter. When Donatello comes back, I'll give you the comic so you can slam it right into his face if you want. I mean, jeez.
Yeah.
They did kill Donatello once before, though, in the Image Comics run. Donatello was dead.
Image.
One of the series. It was either Image.
Mirage.
Oh, Mirage. Okay.
No, Mirage was the first volume. After Mirage sold, I think it was either an Image. I believe this is the 5th volume we're on now. It wasn't the Archie. The Archie Comics one was for the cartoon on TV. I think it was the Image Comics one. It was the mature Turtles one where Donatello actually did die. And it was the 3 Turtles for a while.
Okay.
I don't remember Image ever publishing a turtle book, though.
I don't
Let
either.
me see if I can find the timeline. Go ahead and go on to another book.
The only ones I remember are Mirage, IDW, and Archie. But I could be wrong. Hi, John.
Hello. I was just mulling over the concept of mature turtle run in my head.
It was a very short run. It wasn't received very well.
Barely sounds like a quick walk.
So, John, we know that there's not a lot of books that you read, but is there anything that may pique the curiosity that you could or may want to read?
The stuff coming up in April, was that a segue, Mr. Spider Slayer?
No, just curious. Just curious.
Well, we'll use it as a segue to get it out of the way. Because
we still got to talk about Birthright.
Yeah, that's something.
Yeah. Anyway.
It was IDW, I'm sorry. I found it was IDW.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly, there is nothing current.
Yeah, Dreamwave actually did it. Dreamwave and now IDW. IDW has it now.
Okay, I forgot about Dreamwave. They
were
such a short-lived company. Go ahead, John.
Yeah.
No, I was saying there's nothing current that I'm into right now. I was looking over at my graphic novel shelf, and really anything new that I have is older stuff. Really, I think the most current graphic novel I currently have is the New 52 Shazam.
Okay.
And I find that hard to say in my mouth because I dislike the New 52 so much. But yeah,
the New 52 is going away. So
yeah, but they're bringing back something even worse. So
you'll have to try it. You have to try it and see if you now you'll have to see what you'll dislike the most. Do you dislike the New 52, or would you dislike Convergence?
I'm going to dislike Convergence equally to the New 52 because neither of these are DC.
Well, what about Divergence after?
Yeah, Divergence.
Divergence, she was much better in Fault in Our Stars. But other than that...
I have not seen that movie, so I have no comment.
I'm a nerd fighter, so I know about John Green things.
I know about it, I just haven't seen it.
Well, get on cable there, big boy. It's all over the place.
Okay.
I have cable in Texas, don't I?
Brant, I shared the link with you, by the way.
Okay.
It says in June 1996, Image Comics took over publishing, Volume 3 of the Turtles. That's where Donnie died. Peter Laird kept the book, and Kevin Eastman walked off.
That was a long time ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
1996.
It was 1996.
I don't think I was reading comics at that. I don't think I was reading comics at that point.
I was, but I wasn't reading Turtles at that point.
Same here. I was reading Superman. I started in 98, and then I went backwards.
As a matter of fact, it was mid '90s. I wasn't reading Image at that point.
Yeah,
I didn't even know
was-
Image existed.
Really?
No.
I knew they existed, but
I did,
Remember,
but
I
their
started
stuff
reading
was.
in '98, and I stuck with Superman only.
I couldn't
There's-
even spell image at that time.
Their stuff was really bad
I
at
just
that
wanted to
time.
one up, you know.
yeah, it was everything was blood this and blood that at that time.
Yeah. Young blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Layfield, who pulled out of Gem City Con that little scumbucket.
Wow.
Wow.
By the way,
He's gonna mess up my friend. He's gonna mess up my friend that runs Gem City Con by his abrupt pullout.
what was his reason for pulling out? Do we know?
Oh,
was it
something. No, his fakakta answer was something that had formerly conflicted, that was gone, reappeared.
Came back. Yeah, okay.
So
All right.
now he can't do it. It's like, fine, whatever. For the
By the way,
reason.
yeah. Hi to our viewers that are watching.
Yeah,
we do have
hi
a few-
to everyone who likes Rob Layfield. This is why you'll never see me on this video again, because
Oh, I wouldn't even.
despise that little midget.
Wow. Okay.
And
Anybody
I
that's
have extra reasons, unlike most people who despise that little midget.
So if we do have any viewers, how about they
Yeah.
ask some questions?
Yeah, go
Yeah,
take a
yeah,
take a nap
definitely.
for a few minutes, because until I'm done
No, we
Layfield
definitely
bashing.
will. If you're familiar with this show at all, you know we've Layfield bashed in the past.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Well,
it's not a new thing.
I don't generally Layfield bash because he's not worth my time, but this was worth my time.
Believe it or not, we actually do have a question.
Oh,
Already,
nice.
so
Really? Because I'm not seeing a thing in the chat here.
no, it's on the YouTube channel, on the YouTube page for the video.
Okay. I see.
Yeah, we got a few. We got Tevia from that watches all the Frontline
Tevia
stuff.
that goes on roofs with fiddles. Tevia. I'm sorry, wrong crowd for that joke. Wow.
Yeah, I don't get that reference at all. But okay. Anyway, Tevia asks, "What is our opinion of Batman Beyond dying?"
That was in Future
First
Zen.
I've heard of it.
Yeah,
Was it in
yeah,
Future Zen?
last week.
Okay.
That
I
was
haven't-
that was in Future's End. I actually just wrote that issue today.
I just skimmed it right now. I'm skimming the weeklies. I just
And
Sorry, Tevia. First I've heard of it. So.
I thought it was a very not emotional death, in my opinion. They tried to make it emotional, so when you read it, but when you have Terry McGinnis fighting a Batman Joker Brother's Eye hybrid,
Yeah.
you can't take it seriously, and honestly, that's how he dies. But he takes out the hybrid creature at the same time, and he lands on this ledge, and he sits there, and he goes to Tim, and he goes, "I want you to be a part of this mission. Promise me that." And he's like, "Okay." And then he goes to Plastique, and he goes, "I want to see your face one last time." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And he dies in her arms, and that's it. And I'm just kind of like, this is so cheesy. I'm like, this is so bad. Because you
Mike, you
can't.
make me feel so much better because I didn't feel anything when he died either, and I thought I was going to be the only emotionless person here.
But-
so I'm glad you didn't like it.
But the reason why you're not emotional in the book, like you couldn't, is because the book did such a poor job at character development in the issue, in the books, because the stories were so scattered that I didn't have enough time to really care about the characters. So when Terry actually died, it was like, well, he's dead. That kind of stinks. And out of all the characters in the book, I thought at most times they didn't show him nearly enough, because he was supposed to be the main focal point. He was the one that was introduced in issue 0. And right away, the book, right from the start, got away from him. And it focused on Green Arrow. So, it was hard to really, feel for his death. Now, will he stay dead? No, he's not going to die.
No.
He's not going to stay, because there's already a solicit for June that his series is coming out. So there's no way that he's dead. So either he goes back to the future, or something happens, whatever happens here with this future end story, he's going to be brought back, or Convergence makes him come back somehow. So
yeah, Convergence will change all that anyway. So anything that happened now isn't going to really matter,
right?
In the ultimate near future for DC.
Yeah, but that's what pisses me off, because it's like, okay, everybody who paid for all 40-something issues of Future's End, guess what? Don't worry, it never happened. Everybody who bought World's End, don't worry, it just explains how Earth 2 people got there and the whole destruction of Earth 2. The only thing that matters right now is Batman Eternal.
Yeah.
Well, that's true of 75 years of continuity if you look at everything that's going on right now. I mean, with Convergence, that does the same thing. Not to jump our agenda gun here, but that does the same thing that New 52 did. It completely destroys all that continuity, just throws it away.
Which is weird, because, okay, they got rid of the 75-plus years of history 5 years ago to bring in this New 52. New 52 is only 5 years old, and they're already going back to the old 75 years, which is going to change the 5 years. So now we're going into a completely new generation starting June.
Well, that's been true of everything since Crisis.
Exactly. Yeah. And now DC's not going to have any continuity.
Well, neither's Marvel, but
Yeah.
Right.
It's very true.
It's going to be a very confusing time. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a book that was just average for me. Nothing there that stood out, that said, oh my God, he's dead.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Damn it, Jim. Terry's dead.
Yeah, and I like Batman Beyond. I think he's a cool character, but the series did not make me like him at all. It's just frustrating. So we'll see. And no one ever stays dead in Future's End. No one ever does. Like, everyone came back alive. The only person that stayed dead was Deathstroke, where he got his head ripped off.
And Ronnie.
I think he was the only one that stayed dead. Superman.
Ronnie won't stay dead very long.
What was that?
Ronnie died.
Ronnie won't stay dead.
John, when they undo the Future's End, Ronnie will still be alive, because that whole situation will never have happened.
Yeah.
So anybody who's happy about a female Firestorm.
Well, no, and I brought this up to Gail Simone today, that I think the idea of a male and female Firestorm where they are constantly fighting for control would be a brilliant storyline to delve into. I know it'll never happen, but it would be a brilliant storyline. Because someone brought up the Future's End Firestorm. I was like, yeah, but, that's not really that concept. It just happens to be a female in control of the Firestorm body at this particular second. But, if it was very much like they tried to do with Dr. Fate way back in the day, when they had Linda and Eric Strauss had to come together to make this, ultimate Dr. Fate. I know I'm talking about a comic that a lot of people listening to this weren't even alive for, but whatever. Stick with me. It was an idea that to make Fate truly have access to all her powers, they had to merge together to become this perfect animus sort of thing. And I think, that kind of idea with the Firestorm and that constant struggle of who's in control, that would be very interesting. And yes, I have a monkey in my shirt. Get over it.
I noticed it already when I was talking, but I like that concept also. I was hoping they would keep the female Firestorm. I thought it was a very interesting character, but it's DC. They're ever changing. Literally, every month it's a new shirt.
New shirt?
A new shirt?
New shirt,
Tracy?
new pair of pants, new person.
I hope it's a new shirt every day, but, that's a different story.
Well, you know what I mean by a new shirt, a new design on the shirt. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, well, let's not get started on shirts and the idiotic look for Superman.
Oh, the only good thing about that costume is the Max Fleischer S. I'm sorry, but everything else I kind of...
The only good thing about that costume is that now The Rock could play him in a movie. But other than that, there's nothing good about that costume.
You don't like the Max Fletcher S?
It's fine. You know, I have no problem with the S. I think it's a nice homage, but the idea of jeans and a T-shirt, weren't we doing that already and calling him Superboy?
A lot of people are speculating Connor Kent. I'm ballparking Connor Kent, but I know I'm wrong. Like it's one of
Connor
those
Kent, he's taking steroids if that's Connor.
No, I mean from the pre-New 52. Like we don't know what's going to happen in Convergence, so this is the biggest. And I'm talking like if this really happens, I'll be shocked. But like something happens in Convergence, Clark from New 52 dies, Connor comes into the New 52U and becomes Superman. Because the face looks just like Connor's from the Superboy series pre-New 52.
I could tell from the image that I saw, but I hated the buzz cut.
I don't like the buzz cut either.
And
it's not going to happen.
Batman.
I know it's not going to happen, but...
It's not going to happen. I mean, if they're going to extremes to come out with Cyborg Batman and Wonder Woman with blades sticking out of her hands, and then they're going to go to an extreme with Superman as well. They're not going to kill him or anything like that, but they'll give him a different costume that I don't know for some reason why they decide to kind of bring it back. I have no idea.
Maybe they'll put him on Kandor for a minute.
Oh please, that would be good.
Since all of Convergence is supposed to be bottled Brainiac stuff, but we're getting ahead of I'm getting ahead of ourselves actually.
Well, I mean, we can go ahead and go into that.
No, let's talk about how terrible Birthright is first.
Hey, that's a fantastic.
Hey, I love Birthright.
Well,
So okay,
obviously insane.
So John, you read it? Have you read the first few issues or?
Yeah, I read the entire first graphic novel arc.
What did you dislike? Why do you dislike it?
Well, nothing against the creative team, but the story is trite. This is every fantasy story I've ever read rehashed.
Mm-hmm.
I expected a lot more out of this story than what I received. Kid gets abducted to this other world.
Mm-hmm.
He is the chosen one. He becomes an adult warrior. He comes back, and hilarity ensues. I've read this story a million times before. There was nothing new here. The art was nice to look at, but other than that, there was nothing really new here to really capture my interest. I was literally bored.
I would disagree that there's nothing new because the twist to this, and since we're 5 issues in, we can spoil it.
I actually have the trade paperback. I actually got the physical copy of it.
The twist is that he's not necessarily on the good side, though. He's being
not what he
influenced
appears.
Yeah, he's being influenced by the great evil of this land, and there's some other reveals that happen throughout the book that are kind of different than what we would expect from a story of this nature, I think.
There was no shock for me, I was...
Oh, go ahead, John.
No, the only thing that shocked me, or the only thing that really caught my interest was the last page.
And that's what really got me. Every issue, as I was reading it, the ending... Am I echoing?
Yeah.
Oh, badly, but that's okay.
It's not me.
No, it's not me either.
Could it be the YouTube channel? Is the volume on? Are we hearing ourselves through YouTube?
No.
I don't know then.
Hello? Okay, stop it. I don't know.
Continue. This is all true thrilling for people, for us figuring out our technical problems.
We're all wearing
Continue your idea.
I like the shocks at the end of each issue, though. It was really interesting. And then the last issue, the 5th issue, was the best shock. I like that he's controlled by this great evil, and now the brother can see it. In the last issue of the arc, the brother now sees that somebody's controlling his younger, now older brother, and it leads into, obviously, the next volume. So the question is, and the person that Mikey, who the main character is, the boy that disappears and comes back, his objective is to kill all the wizards that are on Earth so that the great evil can come through from, I forget the name of the other world. It always slips my mind. But basically it's to allow the great evil to come to Earth finally and conquer it. And the brother doesn't know that. He tells everybody they're evil. We have to kill them because they're evil. So he makes up this great lie about it just so that he can do it. And the whole reason for this is he just wanted to see his family again. And, we're getting bits and pieces of what happened from the first moments where he was taken away to this land. And the ending for this first arc was the best because, he tells the brother, yeah, I'm married to a princess, but it's complicated. And then we find out why it's complicated. It turns out because his friend who was tagging along with him actually is carrying his unborn child. And she made it through, and now she's out to stop him or save him. So we don't know if she's going to save him, she's going to kill him. Is he going to kill another wizard? Is he going to break the bond between him and this dark entity that's connected to him? I think those are the few of many things, and the artwork is beautiful in this book.
Yeah, the artwork
the artwork is great. That's really the only reason I hung in, and there were no shocks for me except the fact that his protector, friend, whatever, is pregnant by him. The rest of it was, honestly, it all felt very much rote for me. It's like, I've seen this. There was nothing here to really keep me going except for the artwork. And even that got a little muddy in spots, especially when he, when he was fighting the wizard in the forest, for lack of a better term, During the fight, yeah, that all got very muddy. And, it's just, I wanted more out of it, and I definitely didn't get it, and that made me kind of sad.
Okay. The one character I hated was the mother. I'm sorry, Brant. I just want to say I hated the mother. Go ahead, Brant.
Oh, well, the mother, I think, was there to be hated.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but at the same... Yeah.
No, go ahead, Brant.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, they wrote her to be so pragmatic, and so, this can't be my son, this can't be that, none of this can be happening because this is not reality. Yeah. They wrote her to be that way.
Yeah. I don't know. I totally respect your opinion and everything. I just felt differently.
Feel free to disagree.
What's that?
I said feel free to disagree.
Yeah, it just hit me differently because I agree that there is a lot of routine stuff that is present in any story like this, and as I was first reading it, the art is what kept me going when I was first reading that first issue too, because I was like, okay, well this is kind of typical, but it was the ending to that first issue that hooked me, where you find out that he's not necessarily just come back as a good guy. He's got this evil influence, and that's kind of what kept me going. And it was those kind of little twists to this familiar story that I appreciated, and it kind of just brought me into this whole world, and I fell in love with the story. And
I was expecting that was my problem. I was expecting him not to be this good guy, or to come back and because that happens so often. It's you have the guy that comes back, and he's not what he appears for one reason or another. So, for me, I was waiting for the shoe to drop. And the shoe, honestly, I think the story might have been better served if they hadn't dropped that shoe that quickly.
Mm.
They revealed too quickly that there was something up with this dude. Okay. Honestly, for me, trying to figure out how he got all the weapons that were on that table on his body was the most interesting part of the first issue for me.
There was a lot of weapons to be carried.
Yeah, it was very much like that scene out of Sahara where they're walking and the one character's dropping his weapons, and you keep hearing stuff hit the ground, and the other guy turns around, and the first guy looks at him and goes, "What?" You know, just because he had so many weapons hidden on him.
Yeah, it almost had that cartoon element where you just keep pulling stuff out of the pocket. But,
Right, exactly.
No, I agree with that, yeah. But I like that. I don't know. I just, because, he comes from a fantasy realm, maybe there's some magical explanation.
Pocket universe in his loincloth or something.
Exactly, there you go. I don't know. I mean, I agree the art is absolutely stunning, but for me,
the art's beautiful.
I love the story. I can't get enough of it. I do think this was a perfect way to end this first volume. And maybe if they had, I don't know. I think that was definitely a good cliffhanger to leave off.
No, it was a good cliffhanger. Like I said, that's the only part of the whole story that I was like, huh, okay, that's different. That was a bit unexpected. But the rest of it was just, I think if they had waited to reveal that, he had a demon in his head, that he was essentially there to destroy all the wizards, so the bad guy could come and destroy Earth. I mean, how many bad guys have been coming around to destroy Earth? Everybody.
Yeah. I still think there's probably more to it.
I hope so. We'll see.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to stick with it or not, but
I'll
think
give
there's
it.
going to be more to it.
I'll give it another chance. I won't give it a monthly chance. I'll wait for the next arc to be finished, and then I'll see, because it wasn't enough to keep me interested monthly. Because I had read the first issue, and then I hadn't read anything until the arc came out.
Yeah, I do remember when we did discuss that issue, you had that same problem
I didn't
that
like
you
that
saw
either.
coming.
So, yeah.
Yeah. But Mike, what do you think about it?
Yeah, maybe I've just seen too many fantasy stories, that this has happened in. It just occurs that, hey, this is going to happen to me, or this is going to happen here. I expect it to happen at that point.
Yeah.
And so I'm upset I'm upset if I happen to leave the thing for a minute. I'm not going to have a cool little icon like they do. It'll just be a blank camera.
No, you'll have like a little head.
I'll have a little flying monkey or something that'll sit there.
So when I thought of the book, I thought it was good. I liked it for what it was. I liked the family dynamic of the story. I love how the father was so desperate to have his son back when he went missing, because obviously everyone blamed him for his son being missing, and he so desperately wanted his son to come back. So I really enjoyed that part, because I can only imagine, me being a father, if I'm sitting there playing, ball with my son, and then my son goes missing, and he's gone for a year, and then all of a sudden he shows up. It's kind of like you want him so bad, no matter how strange he looks, you want him to be your son. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, oh, I know he's my son. I could just tell. And so I like the whole family aspect of everything. And then it was just like how the boys always go together, and the mom was always left out because she was the serious one. So I really appreciated that. Now the demon inside his head, I figure I don't know what to think. Like I might be overthinking it, and I'm sitting there going, well, maybe it's an evil inside his head to do bad things, but he did want to see his family, but maybe he's in the end going to trick the evil that's inside of his head. You know what I'm saying? Like some kind of some mind game with it or something like that. Or in the end, he's just going to, turn it all around against it and wind up defeating it somehow like that. But it's cool. I think it's a really well done book. Same thing. I agree with you guys with the whole artwork in the series. I think the artwork was really well done in there, and I do like seeing the flashbacks of where he came from. So you have some kind of character development in the actual story. Kind of reminds me of like an Arrow setting. you know, where he goes back to the, you know, instead of going back to the island, you're going back to the fantasy land, and you're seeing what he experienced there. So I like that part of the story. So overall, I think it's a solid book. It may not be like my favorite read that I've ever read, but I think it's very solid in my opinion. I wasn't bored with it whatsoever. For me, it was a pretty quick read. Like, it got me. I read those first 5 issues in probably like a half hour because it was that fast of a read for me. So fun stuff.
For me, that's a problem. I mean, I did the same thing. It took no time to read whatsoever.
Right.
And that's a problem for me.
Is it for you? For me, it's not, because it's like...
No, go ahead.
Dialogue-heavy books, I tend to get bored with at times, and I'm just like, why do you have to write so much, like, to tell a story? And for me, if they can tell the story with the pictures and do a nice balance between the dialogue and the artwork, I'm okay with that, you know. So that's just my opinion, though, obviously.
Well, for me, it's not even dialogue, but if I can go through a book that quickly, it means there was nothing there to hold me up. There was nothing there for me to think about.
Right.
I just read it, I went through it, it's done, it's over. It didn't stick with me at all. There's nothing there that kept me looking at it, other than the artwork, which was, done in a few minutes. Because, once you've seen a few of those pages, they're, with everyone. I mean, they're typically the same, unless, you're like an Alex Ross or something. But, so if I can buzz through a book that fast, it means there's nothing there. There's no meat to it. There's nothing to hold me up. And that's my problem, is there was not enough there to keep me with that book, to hold me there.
So you're looking for like a thicker plot.
I'm looking for some meat to the book. I'm looking for something that's going to hold my interest for more than 5 seconds.
Right.
Because if I can buzz through a graphic novel, 100 or whatever pages, I don't really know how many pages this was because I didn't count, but if I can buzz through a whole graphic novel that quickly, there's a problem. It's I've either read the thing before and, I know what's happening, I can just go through it real fast, or B, you didn't do anything to hold my interest.
Totally understandable. And I know Brant really loves this series.
Yeah, it's like when it comes out, it's like the first thing I want to read. It's I don't know, I get what you're saying, but I kind of feel like it's one of those series that it's taking its time to get to that meatier thing, and with those flashbacks, I feel like it's kind of filling in the blanks of the deeper story that is there, and we're just getting it slowly revealed to us. And I appreciate like the not just the family dynamic, but the emotion behind some of the family discussions, like especially between the father and mother. I think that got very intense and very emotional at times. And I don't know, it just kind of sucked me in that way. I guess I got more out of it than you did, John, which that happens. So it's just different preferences and things like that.
And I think oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, and the thing that Mike brought up, once again, it was the dad. Why can't just once in one of these stories that the mom be the one that they thought killed somebody? Always I mean, I'm not a father. I'll never be a father, but it's always the father. Just once I want to see, hey, Mom, you killed somebody. Even the new TV show that just popped up.
So she should have been the one out playing ball
maybe,
with the
she could have been playing ball with the kids. I mean, it's 2015, for God's sakes. But
you talking about Secrets and Lies?
Yeah, that's stupid show.
I like this show. See, I love that show.
I say stupid show because I haven't watched it, because it's the same premise again. Father kills son again. No interest. But anyway,
in the show's defense, he didn't know it was his son when that happened. So anyway.
Well, see, one tiny minor plot point that made it more interesting, but I still have no interest in the show. But anyway, that just kind of illustrates the larger idea here is it's been done. And the thing that you were saying, Brant, is, they're taking their time. That's all well and good, but they got to remember that there is a hell of a lot of books out there. And that if they don't catch people right off the bat, they're in trouble.
I think
people aren't going to hang around.
I think Birthright, though, did capture a lot of people because wherever I have gone...
It might well have.
Yeah, that comic has been sold out, and I've been to other comic shops that are just saying that they can't get it, they can't find it.
Issue 1 and 2 sold out. Yeah, issue 1 and 2 have B covers that are second printings because the first issues are gone.
Yeah.
Good for them. I applaud their success, but it didn't.
You're not the only one. Yeah, you're not the only one I've seen say negative things about it either, though. I mean, you're not totally out there on a limb yourself. I just happen to disagree with those people as well. But
I just happen to be the only one out on the limb on this show.
Yeah, on this show, definitely. But no, I mean, I think it's kind of a good balance here. I think you got your reasons for against it. I have my reasons totally for it, and then I know Mike's kind of in the middle with it, and I don't know where Chris stands.
I'm for it. I love Birthright. I'm sorry.
Chris wishes there had more Spider-Man in it, but other than that,
John, have you ever heard of Deadly Class?
Deadly Glass?
Class.
No. Well, perhaps. Remind me, what is it?
It's a newer series from Image as well. It's probably...
Oh, then no, I haven't.
Okay, well, it's the second trade just came out. I just got it actually yesterday. And what's it called? It's basically a setting. It takes place like in 1982, and basically it's this boy whose parents worked for the CIA, and he winds up getting recruited to this school of assassins, and it's like this underground thing where they get all this training and stuff like that, and he's one of the selected few children that get selected as an individual because they know about his parents' reputation and how they died. And then what happens is his goal is to kill Ronald Reagan because of his actual, I guess, things that he set up or whatever is why he feels that why his parents died, and it's a really awesome comic. I really enjoyed it, and that might be something maybe you might like. It's a little bit different. These kids wind up bonding together, and they wind up going to Vegas, and weird things happen. But it's a good series. I really enjoyed it. A lot of my people that watch me on my YouTube channel recommended it to me because I never read it, and when I read it, I was just like, wow, this is really good. So. And I just picked up the second trade because that one just came out. So, and I think the first one's like $10. So you might want to give it a try and see.
I might give that a try because there was nothing there for me until you said, "Kill Ronald Reagan."
Yeah.
There was nothing because when you're describing it, I was thinking Agent Cody Banks, Spy Kids, Divergent. I was hitting off things in my head that was exactly like until you said kill Ronald Reagan.
Yeah,
then you might actually have me.
It's darker. It's darker. It's definitely not Agent Cody Banks, and it's definitely not like Spy Kids. It's a much more graphic book than that.
It's much darker humor,
yes.
which I'll appreciate definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll definitely check that out.
The Deadly Class. I think you might enjoy it.
I vaguely remember hearing about it, but obviously didn't latch onto it at the time.
Yeah, I think you may have even posted a press release about it at one point.
I probably did. That's probably why I remember hearing about it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I post a million press releases and.
Yeah, exactly. That probably is where you heard about it, though. So.
All right. So, what do we want to jump into now?
I think I think we're up to the point where we talk about stuff we're looking forward to coming up in April. So
Coming up in April.
yeah, next month.
Maybe.
Trying to find
Chris?
that link here.
I'm looking as we speak.
About
I
to
did
say,
have
let
something.
me be last.
Yeah, let you be
Let
last.
me be
Okay.
last for a moment because I'm going to not have an icon up here for a minute.
Okay.
Oh, look, it's my
That's funny.
chest. It's the chest from my Google picture. That's so pretty.
See, there
I'm
you
also
go.
turning my
That's-
mic
yeah,
off
that's
now because
something.
I'm embarrassed by that.
All right. So I'll go first while
Honestly-
you guys are looking up. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
what?
No, I
I
had
was just
something. But
Okay, I was just going to mention one thing from Valiant real quick. Ninjak #2, which anybody that watched Frontline Live knows that Ninjak #1 made my top 5. So I'm obviously looking really forward to the next issue that comes out in April. So I got several weeks before it comes out, but I'm really looking forward to that. It's actually a 40-page issue, so it's a little bit oversized. So I'm kind of excited about it. And I think that's all from Valiant that I'm looking forward to. What about you, Chris? What do you got?
I'm looking forward to a lot of the Superman Convergence stuff because it brings back a little bit of a classic feel. Also, I'm looking forward to the Green Lantern Parallax. It'll be interesting to see that again because we all know it's not permanent. And then the Superboy series for sure. And it is to note that Dan Jurgens will be writing Superman again. And everybody knows Dan Jurgens was one of my favorite writers for the Superman series, so I'm really happy to see that playing out during Convergence at least, and then we'll see where it goes from there. I know Dan Jurgens mentioned something on Facebook recently with Superman and the Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah, I remember that too. I'm looking for Marvel. I'm looking forward to it's the last issue of Ultimate Spider-Man, right? We talked about that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. As we head into
That I just don't know how they're gonna wrap all that up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
it's well, I mean,
It's
there's also the Ultimate End miniseries that's going to be going on during Secret Wars, isn't it? It's like a 5-issue miniseries.
It's going to be a mini
So
series.
it'll probably it'll probably carry over into that because there's no way they can wrap all that stuff up in this one issue, right?
I know, but then they have to wrap up all the other characters though with the Ultimates though too, don't they?
Yeah.
So you got to fit all that in there too.
Yeah. It's gonna be tough.
So I mean, it's interesting. When it comes to like Secret Wars and Convergence or whatever it is, you got to look at these writers. How long in advance do they have? Do they know that their stories are gonna come? You know what I'm saying? So they have these stories well in advance, and then do the companies just say, you know what, guys, we came up with this great idea, and it's called Secret Wars. So you know what? In 6 months, you got to wrap up your stories, and that's it. I'm sorry, but that's the way that it's going. And now these writers are fighting or, trying to scramble around to try to, conclude their stories because of what the company told them. So I think a lot of them are just kind of just under the gun here.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the other day specifically about that. It was like the VP of marketing, and he was saying how if you look down June solicitations, there's still some books that aren't involved in this whole Secret Wars thing, and he actually specified that they kind of talked to the creators and gave some of them the option. Okay, do you want to be a part of this event, or do you want to wrap up the books naturally, the way you intended? And some of them chose to do that,
Right.
and that's why we're still seeing some of those books. But others, like of course Bendis with all the books that he's involved with, of course it's mainly all the ones with the major characters. They just went right along with it. So it's, to your point, they're having to rush and finish that up, while some of the other books that are probably lower on the totem pole get to see their vision finish out before they kind of wrap up in this whole thing too.
Right. It's weird. And then what happens to the books that just came out? Like when it comes to, say for instance Howard the Duck and Silk and a lot of these brand new books that just came out. Like Star Wars, obviously it doesn't affect because that's its own universe, but you gotta look at all these brand new titles, and it's just like, well, are they going to hang around? Are they not going to hang around? Like, what really is going to happen to them in the future? Because we all know that the 616 is no longer while Secret Wars is going on, and then after Secret Wars, well, then we don't know what happens at this point, not yet at least.
There was a list of books that were being canceled while Secret Wars is going on, going into Divergence. I shared it on.
I saw that. Yeah.
And a lot of those books, actually, going through that list, a few of them shocked me, like when they mentioned Amazing Spider-Man was going away. But the person who gave the list said that the characters will be coming back in one incarnation or the other. So my thoughts are, for example, Amazing Spider-Man's ending, either we'll get another volume, which is classic Marvel right now, or they're going to bring another Spider-Man title back, like Web of, or Spectacular, or something like that, in its place.
I'd say eventually, once this is all said and done, they're going to go back to the original Amazing Spider-Man numbering. They have to at some point. It was so up there. It was, what, 700 is, or was it 600? It was 700. Yeah.
700.
Yeah, they'll have to bring it back at some point.
They're ending so many books that are on really good runs right now, like Hulk is ending.
Superior Iron Man.
Superior Iron Man, right. Yeah, Superior Iron Man's taking a break after, I believe, June. So, I don't know. I don't see these books being gone forever, but I think especially because Superior Iron Man is doing so well, this event really is going to hurt a lot of the mainstream books because people are liking Superior Iron Man now. Who's to say they're going to like it 8 months from now when Secret Wars is over and, we're going into the whole battle world or not battle world or whatever the hell is going to happen.
Well, battle world goes on while Secret Wars is happening, and then that's when all these books are on hiatus, and that's why they have all these other books that are coming out that have to do. So you got a lot of the series that are ending that says last days of. So those are the ones that are ending, and then once that ends, and that's it. While this whole battle world thing's going on.
I think that's stupid, though. That's like what DC's doing with Convergence, except instead of 2 months, it's like 5 months or 6 months or however long they're going to keep
a year.
It's a year. Secret Wars is going to be a year long?
Yeah.
So basically when Superior Iron Man ends in June, we're not going to be seeing the next Superior Iron Man tentatively, possibly might not even come back, but if it does in some incarnation, we're not going to see it for an entire year. We're going to be stuck in this Battle World Secret Wars thing for a year. So that means that Secret Wars is 12 issues.
But he has his own series. So he has his own Secret Wars series, which is the Armored War series.
Right.
So that based off of the Armor War. So I mean, you never know. That it could be really good. Like the Armor War series back in the day I thought was a really fun series to read. So you got to look at these. Don't always. I mean, it's hard to sit there and say it's sad to see the series that you like go for now, but you could enjoy these, and it could be a good break for besides the everyday stuff. So
and at least they're not keeping those books plus the Battle World / Secret Wars.
You can't because if you're getting rid of the normal universe, you can't keep the normal universe going and Secret Wars. You can't do it. So.
Right. But this is also another good thing because now we don't have to worry about Marvel doing any events for an entire year. We're going to be in a year-long event.
Do you honestly think that's going to happen?
Absolutely not, but I like to say it and try to believe it. Listen, I'm new to Marvel like Mike's new to DC. I've only been reading Marvel now for, 5, 6 years? Since I started my comic review show, so I'm 280 almost in, so yeah, about 280 weeks worth of Marvel.
As soon as Secret Wars starts to crumble, and it will, they'll start up with some other
mini event.
Mini event, I guarantee it.
Yeah, it'll have to lead into something.
Yeah,
It's the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
So John, obviously, we've already talked about that you're not reading anything current right now. What are your thoughts on this whole Secret Wars thing? Because I know you did read up on it a little bit.
No, but I read up on, obviously in the amount of time that I realized we were talking about Secret Wars tonight. But so we're gonna jump right over the whole April thing. Okay, Secret Wars.
No, you can talk about stuff in
that's
April
fine.
too.
I'd rather talk about Secret Wars. Or what the big problem here is that it's unsustainable because they are building. They're building something around storylines and not places. Only half the places on this battle world map that they have created are real physical places. The other ones are based on storylines.
Mm-hmm.
The other ones are based around ideas that happened in real physical places. For example, like the city. The city is Manhattan. It was just Manhattan during the Korvac saga. Civil War happened in primarily Manhattan. If you want to be technical, Howard the Duck hangs out in Manhattan a lot of the time. The only ones that are real physical places that I've begun to see are 2099 is obviously its own physical place. Captain Marvel doesn't really need her own physical place. She's just fine where she is. You can't really pull something like the House of M and put it into a current place. Because what is to keep the House of M from bleeding into any of the other places?
Yeah, see, that's something that we're not really clear on how this is all going to work. Because I don't think they've come. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I mean,
no, you're making the point exactly.
Yeah.
There are not Great Walls of China around every one of these situations. I mean, the House of M is kind of pseudo next door to Days of Future Past.
Right.
So what's to keep the Sentinels from Days of Future Past from flying over and obliterating the House of M?
Yeah.
What's to keep anything from happening in the X-Men's little corner here, where they're all young and vital and current and all that? What's to keep that from bleeding over into the seemingly gigantic area of Old Man Logan?
Yeah.
I mean, Old Man Logan's got something the size of China. The X-Men has something the size of Rhode Island.
Right.
And then the domain of Apocalypse, what's to keep Apocalypse from wiping out the entire thing? The only thing that makes sense to me is Greenland, which is the Hulk's spot. Planet Hulk. I could see him keeping that whole area. Stay out of my area or I'll kick your ass.
So
the problem, though, is Dystopia is attached to that, where you have Future Imperfect and the Maestro. So immediately you're going to have the Maestro and World War Hulk fighting right away.
Right.
So my whole problem with this idea is unless there's a force field or somebody built a big honking wall or something around each of these little parchments of land, this whole idea is completely unsustainable because there's no reason any of these characters could not go into one of these other lands.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
With the exception of the Hulk's area.
I think that's going to be part of the interest of it, though, is that, you don't know exactly why.
We'll see.
Yeah, we don't know if there's going to be any kind of barriers or anything, because all we know is that all these various Earths are converging, basically. It is their convergence, and creating this one giant place where every part of the Marvel Universe is on the same planet.
Right.
We don't know how they're going to be separate or anything. It's confusing, but it's intriguing at the same time, to me at least.
And it's like, in all these areas, though, like, Marvel 616 still has its own place on the map.
Right.
Yeah.
So
see, that's a storyline. That's not a place.
Right.
Or like Marvel 1602. These are all people from the Revolutionary Era and prior.
Right.
What's going to happen to these people when a Quinjet flies over top of them? You know,
Yes.
they're going to freak out. You know, it doesn't make because the original battle world in the original Secret Wars was them just ripping places off of different planets and squashing it all together. Kind of made sense. But this does not make any sense to me whatsoever. There's nothing that I see here that, like I said, unless there's something that they haven't told us, you know, there's a big shimmery light that you can't walk through at the end of your land. You know, what is to keep anybody from crossing over to the other path?
Right.
And how is it, you know, and honestly, how are they going to build a universe out of this?
Yeah, that's
You know,
that's the real thing right there. Like,
yes. See what they've done. What they've essentially done is they've just pulled a Crisis on Infinite Earths. But they didn't. They haven't bothered to build a new Earth yet.
right.
They just threw everything together on one parchment of land. And right now, I don't see how that parchment of land is going to become anything that even vaguely resembles continuity.
Well, they got a year to figure it out.
Or to completely destroy it and have to go back.
Right.
You know, and do something else. I mean, I can understand wanting to, like, fix things and, you know, kind of make things make a little more sense, but they're not starting out well at all, in my opinion.
Were you going to say something, Mike?
No, I was just saying again with like the battle world thing, like John was saying, like what prevents them from going into other lands, and it's like, you know, it could be, there very well could be barriers, but everything is still up in the air and we just don't know about it. Maybe Marvel doesn't even know what they're going to do yet. You know, they just know that, hey, we got this world right now and shit's going to happen, but we don't know what we're going to do because it's going to be based off of, it could be based off of readers, you know, what they think of it. Readers' feedback. You know, people could be like, this is completely stupid, I don't want to read this. So, you know, Marvel could sit there and go, okay, well, now we got to fix it. So it could be very well based off of the feedback that they get from people.
And
Mike was, oh, go ahead, John.
no, my other problem is that the moon is a Sentinel's head. Right now, there's no moon, so this planet has no tides. Now there's nothing to move the water around in here other than, you know, natural coastal drift, I guess. You know, scientifically, it's a bad design.
Well, the whole world looks different now. It's not like, you know, the original.
Well,
yeah, but without a moon, you
would have coastal flooding and everything. That's another thing. Yeah, unless the Sentinels.
Yeah, we get Reed Richards. We'll get Reed Richards to build a wave machine and make waves. There we go.
You would think with Jonathan Hickman being the architect of all this, being the science guy, he would know this.
You would think. And there's only one other problem I have with this, and then I'll shut up. I love Scotty Young's art. I love Scotty Young to death as an artist. I love every piece of work he's ever done. Sure. There is no reason to put his bloody place on this planet. Do you see any other cartoon characters anywhere on this planet? No, you don't.
I'm sure Peter Porker's still around there somewhere.
Well, you know, Peter Porker should have died. Peter Porker. Peter Porker should have been the first thing killed off in Spider-Verse. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Oh, he makes a reappearance in Spider-Ham. I mean, in Spider-Gwen.
Well, you know, and I haven't read Spider-Gwen since after the thing. Or is that what they're really calling her?
I think they call her Spider-Woman in the book.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I would hope so, because that's the stupidest name for a hero ever.
The book, honestly, is not as good as I wanted it to be anyway. So
Well, I
you're
didn't
not missing
expect
much yet. I did because I like that one issue from Spider-Verse, but
Well, yeah, you just like Spider-Gwen as a character, but you know
well, true.
that But is that enough to sustain a book? Is a problem.
Not so far.
Not so far. Yeah, exactly.
I don't like Jonathan Hickman being the architect of this whole thing. He's the reason why I dropped the whole Avengers series because.
True. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I don't like too much science and maps and graphs and hundreds of millions of people. It's like, come the hell on. It's a freaking comic book. It's a comic universe. We don't need a guideline. If you need a map and a graph in the beginning of all your books to explain what cluster crap is going on in your book, it's not worth reading.
Dude, I'm exactly the opposite. I want the guideline. I want the who's who. It has to make sense
The
for
who's
me.
who, yes. The who's
To
who,
be
yes,
interested.
but not everything going all over the place.
I want my map. And I want my map to make sense.
The guideline.
Yeah, go ahead.
What? What were you saying?
saying?
Oh, no. I was just saying. I was just laughing as a
What?
guideline.
Where?
Yeah.
Map?
No, John,
I like
you might
that.
actually. Yeah, John, you might actually like then the Avengers and New Avengers run that Jonathan Hickman's been doing since Marvel now.
You want to talk about meat? There's some meat in that story, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably
And
would
there's
like
a lot
that.
of charts and graphs and stuff like that.
See,
Yeah.
I like charts and graphs because I want my thing to make sense. And, also looking at this map, you're putting 1602 in the middle of the map. What I know of 1602, this is a seafaring race. They go back and forth to England all the time.
Yeah.
You're sticking them in the middle of you just landlock them. Makes, once again, where's the sense here, kids? You're not making sense.
Yeah, it's very confusing. So my question to all three of you then is, given what we do know about it, does it push you away from the Marvel books during Secret Wars, or does it intrigue you to make you want to find out what's going on? Well, I'll just go down the line. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Okay.
Huh?
Mike, go.
Me? Oh.
Yeah.
Me, when it comes to this Secret Wars thing, being that I'm a Marvel fan first, I'm naturally gravitated to it. But it's piquing my curiosity so much, like I want to get everything except the Ghost Rider issue. I have Ghost Racers. What are they going to do? Race all day? Like all the Ghost Racers? Are they going to race around a track? I mean, I don't want that. I don't want that. I have no interest in that. But most of these titles, I want to find out what's going on. I want to at least give a first issue a try and see what this all develops into. That's what I'm really That's what I'm really looking forward to here. And then I'll probably eliminate things as time goes, obviously. But
Basically treat it like it's an ongoing series, like Marvel starting over and
right, because there's a lot of titles that are ending, so this gives you a chance to pick these up and see what they're about, if you like them or dislike them. But this doesn't deter me. I mean, if it deterred me, then I shouldn't be reading comic books then. You know what I'm saying? I know we always pick on certain things and make fun of things, but that's part of our hobby, but I'm all for it. Let it go, let it fly. Let's see what happens. Even the MODOK book I'm getting that one too. I'm all about that one.
What about you, Chris?
I'm going to be honest. I feel it doesn't deter me at all, honestly. I'm not deterred away from Marvel. It's an event. Does it make me want to read Marvel more? No and yes. So the deterring is no, but reading more at the same time. I'm like Mike. This is if you're going to be deterred by an event like this, I agree with Mike. You shouldn't be reading comics because this is what comics are: events, tie-ins, story. If you want a good story, sometimes this stuff happens. Should it happen so often? No, but it is right now. But I'm not deterred away. Honestly, I really want to test the waters. A lot of the books that I'm reading are being canceled. All New X-Men, Iron Man, so it leaves a lot of room on my pull list throughout Secret Wars and Battle World to test out new books. Now, I'm going to test some out physically. The ones that I'm really into or really interested in looking forward to, I'm going to try those out physically. The other stuff I might check out on the computer first instead so I don't have to pay the hefty bill of a physical copy. One thing that really has been deterring me away from Marvel is the $5 price tag on a lot of their books. I just noticed that this coming week, Guardians of the Galaxy 25 is coming out, and it's $5. Is it because it's the end of Black Vortex? No. Is it because of any reason other than the fact that it's issue 25? No. It's just because it's issue 25. They did it for Nova 10. They did it for Nova's Annual because they had to bridge the gap, so they basically had to make a double-sized issue. They did it for another book that was only at issue 5 or 6, but it was really the 100th or some 100 and something. And now they're doing it for Guardians. I just want the books to at least be $3.99, be accessible to people at a nice price. Don't make books like Spider-Verse, #1, it's $5. Is the whole series going to be $5, or is it just the first issue that'll be $5?
Well, most of the books, when I looked at the solicits,
are $3.99.
Are $3.99, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think
maybe the
ones.
Well, no, they even lowered the price tag on some of the regular Secret Wars now. I think starting with like issue 4. Yeah, yeah. I noticed that on like when you look at the June solicits for Marvel, the Secret Wars issues at first they were all $5. Now when you look at their price tag, they're $3.99.
Oh wow. Okay, so maybe they lower it after a while. The first couple issues they're probably doing a hefty price.
Yeah. So
then that's
John?
good. See, then that's good. That wouldn't deter me. That would make me want to read more because at least it's accessible and it's not like, oh my God, I'm going to be paying $100 a week. And especially when you got to also, I know Marvel doesn't give a crap what DC's doing, but for readers like us, we're going to be reading Convergence and we're going to be reading Secret Wars, especially everybody on Frontline because we're going to be covering both events. So Marvel has to take into consideration that people are going to be also looking into what DC is doing. So it would be smart to make it cheaper so more people are interested in that because Convergence, all the books are $3.99, every single one. And then in starting in May, if you want a sneak peek, they're going to be $5, and I think that was a dumb move on DC's part. But that's beside the $4, $5 for the sneak peek books, and I'm not going to be getting any of the sneak peeks. I could wait for the actual book to come out, but this would be a perfect time for Marvel to capitalize. Say, hey, we're having an event, but all of our books are going to be cheaper, or they're going to be, it's not going to be like $5, so you're going to run over to DC and get more books because it's cheaper.
Right. Secret Wars. Secret Wars for June, issue number 3 is $3.99. Issue number 4 is $3.99. So, yeah, they definitely lowered their prices.
Cool. So, John, as the one of us that doesn't normally read all the books, or a good amount of the books for both companies, what about you? What are your thoughts? Does this deter you, or does it intrigue you?
Completely deterred. No, I'm just kidding. And I was wrong. Actually, looking through the map, it was just a bad pointer. King James's England is on the water. But anyway, this is a book that unless we are covering it for a show, I'm waiting for the trade.
Yep.
Okay.
There's nothing here that makes me want this book immediately. Because, as I said, it's not a sustainable idea. They've already screwed up. And I'm not as interested in watching them dig out of the screw up as I would be as if they came with a premise that would work from the get-go. Because right now, all they've done, in my opinion, is just done a Crisis on Infinite Earths badly. They've just tried to take all their continuity and shove it into one place.
Yep.
And just like taking pieces of different colored Play-Doh and trying to shove them onto the same ball.
Yeah.
Which is all I see when I look at this map. Because, as I was saying before, there is no discernible reason why some of these places are existing on a physical map. Because several of these things are not physical things. Limbo. Why would you have Limbo on your actual map?
That
The
reminds
whole
me of something from Thor. That makes me think of something Thor related with Limbo and underneath it is the Deadland, I think.
No, I was going to say it's the Inferno storyline, which all the demons, from Limbo come on into New York. Once again, Manhattan, but you make your own little place somewhere in the southern part of the globe, for one thing, which makes no sense. But, once again, it's a storyline, not a place. And, I'm not really caring enough about Marvel these days to watch them fix their mistake that they made before they even started writing the thing.
Can I ask a question about you and Marvel, just out of my own pure curiosity? You say you don't care for Marvel. What pushed you away from Marvel initially then that makes you really not care what's going on now?
What pushed me away from Marvel is stuff like this, stuff like One More Day,
Okay.
stuff
that pushed me away from
stuff like Civil War, which was a good story, but had so many stupid things that made no logical sense for the character. Peter Parker would have never unmasked himself in a million years. Ever. There was no reason for it. Reed Richards would have never helped clone Thor. For any reason.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
Were out of character in that series.
And upon finding that the Thor clone had killed his best friend's friend, Reed would have gone out there with some Rob Layfieldian gun to blow Thor away. I mean, it's just stuff like that that makes no sense that Marvel's been really guilty of a lot. Now, conversely, they've had a lot of good stories, but, so much of it is mired in dreck, and so much of it is couched within these ridiculously long and unnecessary story arcs or these big events. It's just not worth my time anymore to try to discern how they screwed up, a character this month. I'd rather wait for the trade and then see the screw up and the fix all at once than have to sit through a year of singles.
Come on, you gotta try out X-Men '92 issue #1, man. It's based off of the cartoon.
Well, that's fine. I wasn't that into the cartoon.
Oh.
You got to remember, I've got at least 10 years on you guys.
Well, I don't know.
Not more than that.
Quite that much.
I'm 47, I've got at least 10 years on most of you guys. So, the cartoon
40.
was after me in a lot of ways.
I'm 40, yeah.
I mean, I was much more into the previous X-Men cartoon than I was into the '92 cartoon.
Wow. But you're also more of a DC guy too, admittedly, right?
Well, I've always been more of a DC guy prior to the New 52.
Yeah, but I could tell what turned you off to DC. You don't even need a question.
Yeah, we all know that.
Anyone could answer that for you.
Yeah, we all know that story.
It's very easy to tell you what turned me off of DC.
Yeah.
5 years ago.
The only thing good that's come out of DC New 52 is Red Hood and the Outlaws. That's it. That's the only book that sustained me.
And that, for a lot of people, is very...
It's very anachronous. It's very anachronous to every other mythos in DC.
And that book is going away too, though.
Oh yeah, and that book's going away too. So goodbye the one thing I actually cared about, because none of the other books from the New 52. Because I started out going, okay, this is a horrible idea, but I'll check it out. and I was immediately so disappointed in every single book that I just gave it all up.
And I don't blame you. When I first got into it, I didn't know what I was going to do. I honestly pushed myself because of my comic reviews, or else I would have, if I was just reading books at that time and I wasn't doing my comic reviews, I see myself, other than the Superman, because I think I would have held on to Superman just to ride out the storm. I probably would have dropped everything DC related, and I would have probably gone over to Marvel to read Marvel books until this whole thing blew over with the New 52.
I mean, comic books became a job for me. They used to be fun, and I've been doing the job of comic books for many years now, but it became a job to have to read the books, and that's when it all lost its luster for me. Because it just wasn't fun anymore to read the books.
Because you weren't reading it for fun, you were reading it because you had to.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have read Spider-Verse if Brant didn't put a gun to my head and go, read this so we can talk about it.
You do read some indie stuff still, though, right? Or
yeah,
no?
but, that's still fun. That's, I'm talking about DC and Marvel.
Right. No, I just want to make sure you're not totally disenfranchised with comics as a whole.
I still read tons of old DC and Marvel stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll go back and visit stories that I wouldn't have given a second thought 10, 15 years ago, just because, there's nothing new that I want to look at DC and Marvel. But I'll go back and look at, an old, like that thing that Marvel's coming out with. I don't remember the name of it, but where they're, like, giving you these previous storylines for $1.
Oh, the True Believers thing?
The True Believer stuff?
Yeah.
That is vaguely interesting to me. Because that's old stuff back when Marvel made sense, and I can read it and go, okay, yeah, intelligent stuff that makes sense to me. Because there's nothing about Secret Wars that makes sense to me at all. But, I'll look at it, but like I said, I'm probably going to wait for the trade so I can see it all at once. Because I can just see myself getting infuriated at a monthly.
Yeah.
Having it stop after 22 pages and going, "Are you kidding me?" That is your excuse this month, and then being ticked off for an entire month while I'm waiting for the next one.
Yeah. Hopefully something will come out of it, like Original Sin. I know you really enjoyed that, so hopefully something will come out of it.
The parts I saw of Original Sin, I liked, but Original Sin even got to the point where it stopped making sense because of all the intermixing Fury stuff, and Fury's dead. Oh wait, he's not. And it's like even that started becoming an issue.
Okay. Fair enough. So, at this...
Now let's talk about what's wrong with Convergence.
Another hour for that. I can tell a lot of things there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. We've almost gone, an hour and a half, 2 hours, something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's almost 2 hours already.
Yeah, so maybe we should table Convergence for the next time. Then maybe...
That's actually a good idea. It gives us time to actually start a little bit.
Yeah, you were excited to talk about Convergence?
But I was already.
Look at John. I wanted to get it.
But the thing is that next time we talk about it, though, I think an issue will be out, right? And then we can really start to talk about it.
Yeah, I believe so.
God,
so then
I
we
read
can
an issue now?
Yeah, that.
Damn it.
Let's make that. Let's document that and let's make that a thing for next time. That you have to watch. You have to read.
I'm wearing a mask next time. That's it.
That's right. We got to do another live show so we can see John's reactions to all the Convergence.
I'm wearing a V for Vendetta mask next time. That's it.
So we'll say that.
Okay, well, that's fair enough.
We'll gotta get masks for the next show.
Like that.
I think that will be fun. So then we can really talk about it then and see. We'll have a better picture of it at that point.
Oh yeah. Then I'll be really pissed off.
Yes.
I'm
There we
gonna look
go.
forward. I can't wait. Is it next month already? I want to see John rip it apart.
Hey,
Oh yeah, I mean, right now just the
You're
concept
right.
is pissing me off. When I actually read the book, and it doesn't win me immediately, yeah, you'll hear about it.
It's
Oh, I
over.
can't wait.
All right.
Brant, you just
Brant,
set up an awesome show for next month.
Brant, did we have any more questions?
No, they abandoned ship a
No.
long time ago.
Yeah, I've been checking.
Okay,
But
cool.
no, if you guys have any additional questions for us, obviously leave them in the comments below, and we'll answer them that way. So, but yeah, so we'll save Convergence for the next time. Should be fun or painful for John, but that's okay. Anyway.
Yeah, when has my comfort ever been part of the deal?
So this is the part of the show then where we will go around the table and see what everybody has coming up, coming out, and going on. Mike, we'll start with you.
All right, so I got my on my channel on Comic Book Corner 2.0. I recently just put up the latest haul video of all the books that I picked up. I also did a review on Future's End issue number 46, like we discussed already, and there will also be a review on there with the Amazing Spider-Man issue 16.1 that has to do with the whole spiral thing. Also on Comic Frontline, I did a review yesterday on the first issue of Chrononauts. That's written by Mark Millar, and the artwork is done by Sean Murphy. If you guys are not familiar with Sean Murphy, he recently did the artwork for The Wake. So cool book. It was an interesting book. So if you guys want to check out those reviews, feel free to leave comments below, and I'll answer your questions. So, and I'm hopeful on Monday to get a countdown in there as well.
Cool. Awesome. Chris, what about you?
I got a few videos I'm working on right now for Frontline. I have one new series, and I was going to start the series with one subject. I changed it to another after we did the live show this past week. I am definitely going to be covering Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 44, along with the shocking news, which is the death of Donatello. I'm sure there's one or two other books I have slated for Comic Frontline. My channel is normal. Tonight will be the haul. Tomorrow should be the indie review, or the day after, and then following that will be the countdown/review. And Frontline Gaming Zone, we got Mario Party 10. There should be some what do we call those things, Brant? Community play on the weekend for that. Some Battlefield possibly if I finish the campaign, which I started. There will be a review of that on Comic Frontline for the gaming section of Frontline. Frontline Gaming Zone wise, I will be continuing 1886. Monday should be the next episode up. Now that my schedule for work is gone back to its normal, I have a lot more time to do stuff. And then, of course, there's stuff I'm not allowed to talk about for now, but I'm getting edgy about it and can't wait. A lot of the announcements will be on, a nice amount of the announcements will be on Dark Avenger Live 45. 2 weeks. Thank you, John. Yes, 2 weeks now. Thank you. It's true. 2 weeks now. 2 weeks now. Thank you, John. So.
John, you and I sound alike now. But anyway.
No, John was doing this. I didn't hear you, Brant. I just saw John doing this.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I didn't hear you.
I was doing this and avoiding doing this because it's still 2 weeks.
Yeah, John was doing too. So in 2 weeks there'll be an announcement on my channel, and there'll be more announcements otherwhere for other things. So that's it.
All right, John.
Well, since I don't know if I'm going to be on a podcast before then, or if I'm ever speaking to Brant ever again, I will be at Gem City Comic Con on June 28th and 29th.
June.
So March.
Thank you.
I'll be at New York Comic Con Special Edition hopefully in June.
Lord knows where I'll be in June. But
Yeah.
in March 28th, 29th, I'll be at the Gem City Comic Con with Chuck and Derby City Comic Con and Complete Set and comic related and who knows what else. And since I can't talk about anything of mine for 2 weeks, I'll talk about other people's stuff. My buddy Eric Adams is doing his Kickstarter right now for the Lackluster World hardcover book. Please go and check it out and give money if you have extra lying around. Even if you don't, go give him some money. It's a fantastic book. It deserves all your money. Every bit of money you have. Stop eating. Go give money to this book. Because it's worth it. And I'm trying to convince him to make even more cool merchandise for it. In addition to the other cool merchandise he already has. So go check that out. Other than that, I don't like anybody else, so I'm not going to talk about them. But and maybe in 2 weeks you'll hear about what I've been up to. But other than that, Brant and I and Brant when he wakes up, and Chuck when his future wife isn't having hospital stays. We're all doing stuff on comic related, so come check us out every day. New stuff on the website all the time. Less me complaining, more me doing professional like writing crap. So okay, that's it. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
You don't have anything, Mike. What are you 2 weeking about?
You got nothing.
I just gotta fit in. That's all.
Yeah. In 2 weeks, it is our. No.
Well, you can't even say the name of it yet.
I'm not. It's our 6-year anniversary of Zone 4.
Who cares about that? That's not what I want to talk about.
It's huge. It's 6 years. 6-year anniversary of Zone 4 is a.
Yeah, I know. I was there at the beginning. Remember? Episode. Hang on. Hang on. I'm trying to get it on the thing. This is what we're going to talk about in 2 weeks. This.
Yes,
remember
that's true.
This.
Very true.
Remember this.
We're going to burn your house down in 2 weeks.
We're going to burn your house down in 2 weeks. Send us your address.
The dangerous arson.
Send us your address, and we're all going to put on big white suits and burn down your house. And once again, that joke is probably too old for this.
Don't put that out there. I ain't putting no white suit.
Once again, that joke is probably too old for this crowd, but you know.
This is getting bad. We need to go to the Arkham Asylum.
There was a song called "Burning Down the House" in the '80s. The guy wore a big white. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, remember we're too young.
I quit. I am Groot. I'm Groot.
Anyway.
Wait, now I'm Groot.
2 weeks. 6. Okay. You're Groot. Dancing baby Groot. Episode 305, Zone 4, 6-year anniversary, 2 weeks episode. Like John and Chris were alluding to, there will be
Shut up, my batteries ran out.
That all 3 of us are involved with. So stay tuned for that. It's huge news. We're very excited about it, but we'll talk about all that later. New Comic Day. The site has been down for some, including myself, so I haven't been able to post the 300th strip, so hopefully it'll go up next week. It will be my last strip, and I'll be writing the commentary for it, so it's pretty cool, so check it out. I may be. NewComicDay.net. It will be up there eventually, so check it out, and a new letterer will be starting on it on strip number 301.
A literal letterer?
Beyond that, a literal letterer. Yes.
All the listeners of Zone 4, the regular listeners, or the Legionnaires, should I say, they're going to be like, what the hell is going on this show today?
I know.
They're going to be hearing all this weird stuff, dancing Groots. You know, they got listeners. You got to be reminded that this particular show is live on YouTube. So there's some odd things going on right now that you don't see.
No, if they're regular listeners, they've heard worse than that over the years.
That's true, very true. If you are listening to this either via Comic Frontline, Comic Related, iTunes, whatever, The video version of this is on Zone 4 Podcast on YouTube. It's the Zone 4 channel. So go check it out, and you can see all this stuff that you have no idea what's going on and why we're laughing and being so crazy. So,
It won't make any sense to you anyway, so don't bother.
it won't, yeah. But if you want to see it anyway, it's there. So I don't think I have anything else to plug other than that. So
It's your birthday tomorrow.
well, there is
Yeah,
that.
plug that.
He doesn't seem too happy about that.
It's another year older.
How old are you going to be, Brant? 38?
Younger than you, Mike.
That's fine. We're still around the same age.
We are. No, 38. That's correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, getting there though. I'm catching up.
Yep.
But yeah, so happy birthday of spring, everybody. By the way,
It's
yay.
snowing here. I have no idea what spring
it's
is.
snowing there. It's been raining like crazy here today.
You can go on my
And
Instagram
Mike-
and see a video of the snow.
It's
Yeah,
been
Mike, we
so,
don't want to hear how the weather is there. We don't want to hear
it's
it. Just
so hot. It's been
Uh-huh.
today. It was like 92 degrees in Florida, at least. Yeah,
we all hate you.
it's rough.
Even I hate you, and I'm in Texas.
Yeah, I was about to say.
it's not gotten hot here yet.
Oh
But,
yeah, it's really been hot. It got hot quick.
Yeah.
So we'll see what
So-
happens.
Yeah. So check us out on that is one thing I'll plug for Chris, Mike, and myself. Comic Frontline Live, which made its iTunes debut this week. Episode 50 is available on iTunes now, so you can listen to the audio version on iTunes. And next week's episode, we're actually going to have David and Meredith Finch on the show to talk about Wonder Woman and Little Mermaid and some other stuff. So it's going to be a cool show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so check that out.
Sometimes
And yeah, absolutely. And I guess that's going to wrap us up here. So, Chris, take us away.
All right, we'd like to thank the official bands of Zone 4, the Ray Wolf Band and Society's Plague that you hear on the show each and every episode, except for this live show where Brant just opened up with the Zone 4 intro.
It'll be
You
on the
also-
audio version.
It'll be in the audio version.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what happened to running all the audio through the thing?
yeah.
I
Oh, yeah,
I missed the topic
you
calling and I just let it go.
Yeah, I forgot.
But anyway, we're also proud members of the Comic Related Podcast Network. You can find us on comicrelated.com, Comic Frontline, comicspodcast.com, Stitcher, if you know what Stitcher is, by the way.
Nobody knows what Stitcher is.
I have no clue what Stitcher is myself. So, and of course, zone4podcast.com, in case you didn't know there was a website for this podcast also. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions for us, send those to zone4@comicrelated.com. Any raunchy questions you can send to Brant at comicrelated.com. And as always,
And I'll
thanks for
forward them
listening.
to John.
To Brant?
Yeah, I was about to say, I'll forward them to
Who the hell
John at
are you talking-
comicrelated.com.
Brant?
Hey, mine, send it to John at comicrelated.com.
That's like sending a nun a porno,
Underwear
for
at
God's
I'm still waiting for those underwear that he's supposed to be getting, those superhero underwear. You know, he'll give you his
I'm not
address.
talking about that again.
Okay, fine. You are now leaving Zone 4.
And everybody
Underwear!
said, thank God. Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
DFTBA, Nerd Fighters.
2 episodes from now, when John goes postal over Convergence. DC.
Hell, John's not going postal, he's going FedEx.
Good night, all.
This is only a test for the X-Men.
This has been a Gonzo Goose production.